refrigerator is crushing ice when the setting is clearly on whole cubes. Damn!
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. It's your weekly podcast that delivers a minute-by-minute breakdown of the 1986 Transformers movie. This is episode 32. We're covering from the 31:01 to 32-minute mark of Transformers, the animated movie. I am your host, Aaron. I'm here with my co-host, two hardcore guys who, let's just face it, they don't give a fuck.
So much that I'm not even going to say my name.
No, I don't even care.
All right.
What drove you guys to develop this cold, devil-may-care outlook on life?
I think it stems from just... I mean, for me, it's got to be the chronic masturbation. It really is just like a case of I don't even have an interest in women or men. I'm just like, I am a self-lover.
So with every stroke of your penis, a stroke of your caring for humanity kind of fell off.
Yeah, I'm just involved with myself, and look what I'm doing right now.
Oh, Jesus, put it away, Ryan. God, no. Please. He's still doing it. He's not...
I'm going to do it this whole episode.
Caleb, I think we're just going to have to accept this. What drove your devil-may-care attitude? This leather jacket you got for Christmas?
I just Google News too much.
Last episode recap, we saw some classic negotiation. Great fundamentals, both parties, both parts. This, honestly, this episode, that last previous segment, should be shown at business schools.
Yeah.
Frankly. Unicron conducts what I can only assume is the Transformers equivalent of waterboarding upon Megatron. And Megatron folds like clean towels out of the laundry. And that
Okay.
Nice.
Booyah!
I'm glad all these off-the-cuff jokes that have not in any way been prepared.
Don't know what you're talking about. So at 3101, Unicron's green light seems to have patched up Megatron.
Yes.
And Megatron has basically said, yeah, I accept your terms. We're going to go ahead and do...
How could he say no?
Whatever you want.
I love this part. Like, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, the reformatting of Megatron. I mean, from the music with all the Vince DiCola, like, cha. And, the visuals and the cinematography of, like, right now we're getting 3106 where they start the scanning of Megatron's interior. And it's like... Somebody took some time to draw this. I mean, there are layers in there and levels, and it's really cool.
A lot of work.
I love it.
One question I have is why... Okay, Unicron healed him.
Yeah.
Why didn't you give him a new body? What purpose did that serve?
I think because of Fluoro-Dairy.
Maybe.
because of
new toys.
Well, we see this later. That's
toys.
true. That's true, of course, because of new toys. We see this later of Unicron, by way of Fluoro-Dairy, is very into purple and gray and round things.
And also, you tell me, is there any better toy than the Galvatron that came out?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean,
yeah.
what a wonderful...
I owned that toy. Did either of you own
I owned a
that
Galvatron,
toy?
yeah. It was like the
shit.
least articulated. It just could only stand straight up and down.
It barely looked like the guy. The colors were opposite. Like, Galvatron in the cartoon is mostly purple.
Yes.
But the
was
toy is
gray.
mostly gray with purple highlights.
One would think that they would have really pulled out all the stops to make a good...
The new Well, it's battery. You can put jam batteries up his ass
Made
and make it
some up his ass.
Didn't even sound like
So
it.
is the Masterpiece Galvatron better? Did they make it better?
Well, there is an official. There's not an official Takara Tomy Masterpiece Galvatron, but I do own the Fans Toys version.
Yeah, it's great.
Fans
It
Toys
has
Sovereign.
the Matrix with the chain around
There's
his
at
neck.
least a couple, and a third one actually is popping on the scene.
So
soon.
yeah, he loved purple. He loved purple.
Right.
I of course, man.
maybe it's just because the cartoon indoctrinated.
It's also
me.
an exercise. Two things. I think having Megatron turn into Galvatron did two things. It showed Unicron's ability to power.
Sure.
All right, so he turns Megatron into Galvatron. He makes all these other dead
Minions.
minions, and then he even has he opens up a little hatch, and the ship comes out. Okay,
Skipping way ahead.
so you asked.
It's funny. It's funny.
My question is, could he just not just create a bunch of his own?
True. Yeah.
Maybe he has to have something to work with.
That part did ring hilarious to me. That there's all this drama involved in creating, like turning these old people into new people, and then Unicron's like,
Oh, by the way,
and here's a ship for you.
BT Dubs, I got a ship all ready for you.
I think it's that being said, it is badass. I like how Unicron's like excellent, and like he
Just gets right to business.
he hooks him up. Megatron gets hooked the fuck up.
He does.
Oh yeah, 100%.
What the only other thing I would like to say about the whole reformatting thing is that from a revenge standpoint, which we know is going to take place in the next scene or two, wouldn't it be more satisfying to show up as your old
As
body so
Megatron?
somebody knows immediately what's going on? Or
I
does
like
it
how it throws off. It throws Starscream. It throws everyone off. I like how it's like it takes your adversary completely off balance.
And presumably he's more powerful than Megatron, if more mentally unstable.
It's a
which
new.
I guess
He's not mentally unstable yet.
In
I've
the
actually
movie.
developed some theories about his mental instability.
Well, I mean, we can talk about it now if you want. I was going to wait till the Galvatron, but I was going to say, isn't Galvatron your favorite Transformer?
he has to
Aaron?
be close to the top, yeah.
Because he's
He
psychotic.
would he would definitely kick in the cabinets.
I tie a lot of this here to like professional wrestling. Like you have a character and you want to evolve him somehow. It's like
So Megatron is maybe
Hulk Hogan.
and Galvatron is the Ultimate Warrior.
No.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan?
That's right. Yes, thank you, Ryan. And I'm actually
Sorry.
very, very impressed.
I know so little about wrestling, but I know that. Yes.
So,
Did you guys know there's actually a lot of crossover between Transformers and the wrestling world in terms of fan base?
Fandom?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's
Huh?
huge. It's all about that kayfabe, baby.
I don't know what that means, but it sounded hilarious.
Kayfabe is it's where you're accepting the fiction as reality in a way. Where if a wrestler was to quote unquote break kayfabe, then they are stepping outside of their character and acknowledging the fiction.
That it's
Breaking the fourth wall.
That in a way, yeah, it's breaking the fourth wall. It's also like it's acknowledging that it's a drama.
So is
Right.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson having a movie career?
No,
Is that
because-
breaking kayfabe?
No, I wouldn't think so.
And I'd be curious to see what the people that are really into wrestling say about that. I would say no, because he is separating his Dwayne Johnson from The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock, the only way that would work is like if The Rock were like, hey, I'm playing a character, wrestling's not real.
Right.
It's all set up.
I mean, everyone, it's understood that it's
To most
fiction.
people, there are crazy people who
Well,
maintain.
sure. No, my dad.
Are there
no.
really?
Oh yeah, my dad. All right, so my dad's my dad.
The Milkman?
No, listen to my story.
Okay.
My dad is not into wrestling, and he's not bought into. He doesn't take the fiction as reality. He doesn't play into it. He doesn't give a shit. Anyway, but my dad has a shop, and he was getting it re-roofed one day, and he had two guys that he knows that were re-roofing it, and he was down in his shop working, and they were up on the roof re-roofing it, and these guys got on a fight. They got in a fight up on the roof.
Like a real fight.
Like
Fisticuffs.
a real, I don't know if it got to physical.
Aggressive
An
talk.
It was
argument.
aggressive talking to each other because one of the guys said to the other guy that the Honky Tonk Man is a liar. And it got real
Oh,
heated.
shit.
Yeah. So, yes.
A liar.
Yeah. Honky Tonk Man is not a liar. So it
What
got,
are you saying about Hacksaw
so,
Jim Duggan?
Yeah, so, and my dad was worried that one of them was going to throw the other guy off the roof. So Anyway, yes, let's all acknowledge that there are people up there that take it very seriously, and to the point where it's reality to them. There's also people that take it very seriously, but they play along with kayfabe.
Sure.
Right.
So that's what kayfabe is.
All right.
It's playing along.
I'm educated.
It's playing along with the narrative as reality. And if you break...
Those people on the roof of your dad's shop sound like they don't know about kayfabe.
They don't know
Not at all.
Nope.
So, okay. There seems to be Megatron is standing in a stoic pose. The green light is still there, if you recall from our last episode. There's the red light of death and the green light of growing,
rebirth?
I guess. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. So what can only be described as kind of a scanning takes place.
Yeah,
It feels like a
Megatron.
scanning.
It's awesome. Like the layer, it feels 3D to me.
Super badass.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So.
And then we switch to a grid where it's like in the background like a trapper keeper from the 80s.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like Tron.
Yeah. I think this had to be. Tron had to come out before.
Yeah,
this.
Tron was earlier.
This has to be very Tron inspired. I just wanted to show you guys this.
Aaron is
For the listeners at home, Aaron has grabbed his Megatron,
The
masterpiece.
the masterpiece Megatron, and slid the face off. And on the other side of that face, they've homaged this scene in the movie where we get to see kind of what's
kind of like the optic
behind the grill.
It shows
so to speak.
it shows like the optic mechanics.
Anybody that is absorbed into Transformers collecting would know that feature exists, but it's a cool feature and it's relevant to. The hips are getting a little loose there.
Yeah, careful.
I've never transformed him. He's an amazing figure in terms of his paint. And the articulation's amazing, but I never want to transform him because I understand basically once you transform him, he's never going to look the same again. Like,
well, that doesn't seem like good design.
It's too much paint. Oh yeah, I know. That could be argued very, very well. I mean, there's a lot of paint going on. And it just takes a lot to make a robot that looks that good.
That's true. And
into a gun that looks
true.
Like
and to some extent, these are not meant to be toys. They're meant to be like
right. But you still want to.
Of course, you want to transform them. Yeah.
I mean,
for me.
Who would want to have a toy
in general,
that you can play
it's for me in general, it's more about knowing they can transform than actually transforming them. I have two sort of
It's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
It's just knowing that they exist.
I have two masterpiece Megatrons. This the official one, and I also have and there's actually two official ones. There's like MPO2 or 3 or something that the original masterpiece that accompanied this guy,
Optimus Prime.
and it was not nearly as good as that. But then I also have this guy, which is a third party figure over there, and that was like the first major masterpiece style Megatron, just done by a different company.
Yeah, I will say I like the masterpiece better stylistically, but I like that the other third party one has like it's shinier.
I think the paint. I like the paint choice on this one. It's more cartoon accurate.
Yeah.
That's more chromy. I like the proportions of the. This is, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about X-Transbot's Apollyon. If you care to know that, I like the proportions on Apollyon. This Megatron, if you were just to stand him up, his legs feel way too long proportionately to me. Like he should be a rocket, honestly.
You just think maybe his torso or his chest needs to be
like
bigger.
the ratio, maybe the chest bigger or taller, whereas the Apollyon proportions are awesome, but he's very kibbly, as they say in the industry. His legs, like this, has nice clean legs. His legs
masterpiece one.
The masterpiece MP36 has very clean legs. Apollyon just looks like they took all the garbage of the transformation and chucked it into his legs. So, to move on to the show
We're
here.
at 31:11.
We can do this,
That's
Caleb.
cool.
Don't you worry about
No,
it.
don't worry. Hey, it's cool. No, we're doing great.
This is thanks for the positive vibes.
You're welcome, dude.
So,
Hold on. I love both of you guys.
I love
Hey,
you.
I love you guys too.
Group hug. We're really group hugging.
Up all in the mic.
Maybe I'm kissing a
It's
little
kind of
bit.
weird. Oh, well.
And I'm still touching my dick.
That never. Yeah, you never put that away.
never
It's just
did.
been
Never
flopped
did.
out this whole time.
And it's weird because it won't get hard.
No, and it flops by itself.
It's like an animatronic toy that you just push the paw.
What are
It's
those?
like a severed organ.
No, what are those kids' water toys? That it's like a clown head, and
And
got all
it's like it has like all these the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men.
that's what your dick would be. Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Useless.
No, but entertaining.
Yep. Everybody likes to laugh at it.
It has a purpose. The scanning phase, there's a second scanning phase that's going to take place here. And so we see Meg's inner workings. It's very X-ray-like.
And
then go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just said 3113, basically, he starts getting covered in like this, I don't know, electronic like plasm or what. It basically looks like the Michelin Man. And that whole sequence from 3113 to 3119, where it's covering him in a grid, like I am lost as to what any of those parts are. I can't figure it out. Even as a kid, I was like, where am I? Is that a leg? Is that an arm?
Well, that's,
I don't know.
I think we're looking at his
that's the
behind
point.
because there's an arm cannon there.
He turns.
We're
That's-
frozen at 31:19.
I think that's the point. I mean, they're like, how are we going to make this transform?
To me, it's sort of a
That's just-
cocoon.
Yes.
In a way,
Yes.
it's an electronic mesh,
Which very
of
much
sorts.
like a caterpillar in a cocoon doesn't change into a butterfly, completely liquefies, and then becomes a butterfly,
it's-
which is fucking strange.
Yes, but it retains certain amounts of
It remembers, yeah.
genetic memory.
Yes, which is really weird. We went far afield on that one. A lot of metaphors, a lot of similes.
It's pretty awesome. So the camera's going to pull away. The mesh kind of
The mesh
strips itself off of him, and we've got a new form.
Yeah,
so
we are.
Unicron reveals Megatron's new form. Behold, Galvatron.
Which is awesome.
What a
it's
pose.
So great. It's
What a
so
pose.
great.
For my Fans Toys Sovereign, a.k.a. third-party Galvatron figure, he's not posed like that right now, but my original pose, he comes with a stand, and I pose like this is the pose that I put him in. Just kind of
3123.
his arm cannon just cocked slightly back, his other arm slightly forward. It's an amazing
great.
pose. Not a great illustration per se, but a great pose.
It's a very dynamic, and then now at 3125, Unicron is dragging in the rest of the damaged Decepticons to reformat them.
So
Yes.
it's a wide shot, and just for the record, let's left to right, we've got Kickback, Shrapnel, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and Bombshell. And we need to pay attention here because there is contention in the community.
This makes me crazy.
And you're going to see they're getting sucked in. God, that's a great shot,
It is,
actually.
it's really cool.
It's really badass.
The lighting effects were paused at 31:29. Just the lighting effects, the way he's drawing them in. But so he's going to segment the first three off, and you've got Kickback, you've got Thundercracker, and you have got Shrapnel. Thank you.
And we're at 3131. And then, yes, and we go much faster, whereas Thundercracker becomes Scourge, and the Insecticons become his sweeps.
So we can definitively say that Thundercracker is Scourge. I think we can completely agree upon that. Where the Scourge and his Huntsman.
Nobody's arguing that his
Huntsman,
Huntsman,
the
which
sweep.
actually is still in my original script. They say Huntsman.
Oh, really? Do they say that Thundercracker is the Huntsman? And
No, because Thundercracker doesn't die.
Oh, that's right.
Did you just say Huntsman?
Huntsman. It's like a, yeah.
That's you.
They're at a
Huntsman.
gangbang.
That's a porn name. Let's.
Yeah, the Huntsman.
Huntsman.
That's like my porn name would be Perry Hodder.
Why is that?
Because I need a porn name.
my third career.
Please continue.
So here's where the contention comes.
Phase 2, you've got Bombshell and Skywarp.
Skywarp at 3140.
And they're getting scanned and turned in to Cyclonus and his armada. Okay, let's put aside for a second that really after this scene, the armada doesn't exist.
Correct.
Like, he's not going to show up ever again. But people, for whatever reason, don't want to accept that Bombshell is Cyclonus. And they don't want to accept it for a number of reasons. One of those being that Skywarp was known as a loyal warrior. He was, after all, the first one to wake up on the Ark.
That's true.
And he dragged Megatron into the whatever the Teletran 1 life-giving light was. Like, he's known as a loyal Decepticon. So they want him to be Cyclonus, but he's not.
No,
they're
he's
not going to put the front guy up and be like, it's the guy in the background.
Now,
he's the real Cyclonus.
Okay, according to the movie, yes, the guy in the foreground who was Bombshell becomes Cyclonus, and we'll see in a minute here, he is filling up almost all of the screen, whereas like before when we saw Scourge, he was in the middle of the screen, Thundercracker, and then his minions are in the background, obviously. And so, yes, I agree that from a story standpoint and from a fan standpoint, I want Skywarp to be Cyclonus also.
Right.
Because it makes more sense. It totally makes
He's a
more
bigger
sense.
character.
Yeah, and
not that he was a big character, but he's a bigger character.
Do you really think that Unicron gives a shit who he's turning into who?
No.
That's a good point.
But-
And if these guys are dead, he's just bringing
Using their parts.
It's just
new
bad
bodies
luck.
to life.
Yeah, it's just bad luck. It's just bad luck.
Right.
On
He's
Skywarp just happened not to be
But
like, floating
Can
in
he
the right
impart
place.
a personality
Well,
like Adam and Eve? Like,
and
does
that's-
any of the personality of the dead individual remain? That's a whole other question.
Well, that's another point. Is that if they are dead, maybe there is no personality, but Megatron's personality certainly continues into Galvatron because he's aware that Megatron existed.
and he was aware that he has a beef with Starscream.
Yeah, and so I think if Cyclonus, his personality in the show fits better with Skywarp.
I agree. Oh, people will also say Bombshell was treacherous. The Insecticons in general were treacherous.
Yes.
But but there's also a contingent that would say that it makes sense that the Insecticons are sweeps because there seems to be multitudes of sweeps, and the Insecticons had the ability to reproduce themselves.
And they have purple and black already on their.
Makes
So
it easier.
It's an easier paint job.
Yeah, you just have to do some touch-ups.
That's right.
Yeah, but clearly from the animation, it's fucking Bombshell. It's Bombshell. I mean,
It is Bombshell.
They wouldn't put him in the foreground.
also, again, if you want to continue playing, we go to minute 31:47. Bombshell Cyclonus, uncut, fills up 3/4 of the screen.
Yes.
And it's just, I mean,
And he
It's
flex-
a smooth transition.
And he
Yes.
he flexes his muscles.
Right.
Like it's him.
and it, yeah,
true.
there you go.
That's
and
true.
then the other.
And I think all this comes down to an animation error. It was supposed to be in the script it was supposed to be like the sweeps where there were more of him, like copies of him behind him. But I think when in translation from it being all Sparks
me-
as opposed to dead Decepticons, there were just not enough bodies to work with.
let me just say real quick. It makes more sense for because Skywarp is a jet.
Yeah.
And this guy transforms
That's another
into
argument,
a
yeah.
space jet.
I can't remember who the last group of
makes
people
more
were, but
sense.
none of them turned anything close to hovercrafts. It was a few Insecticons.
There's just Insecticons and jets.
But you know what?
None of it really makes sense.
But let's just accept the fact that Bombshell.
Bombshell is Cyclonus. And there is a comic
Cyclonus.
where there's a book where
Do they have memory
there
of their previous?
Well, again, like I said, Galvatron remembers some parts of being Megatron because he remembers Starscream. He remembers
Maybe he's given the gift of that.
But again-
where these guys aren't.
again maybe they were dead and Megatron wasn't dead.
Perhaps
And there is a book where there's a joke in there.
they
where,
weren't dead when they were being pushed out of the
true,
shell.
but they don't. Yeah, but they
Not
don't-
all of them were. It's hard to tell.
Anyway, there's a joke in one of the books, like one of the comic books, where somebody says to Cyclonus, "I didn't like you even when you were a bug." So
we know where we stand.
yep, listeners, tell us if you disagree.
3146. Cyclonus is flying. Galvatron, he surveys his new armada, if you will. And that's the point
Unicron's
which we referred to it earlier, where it is just so funny. He puts all this work. Like, he just had the
has
new
a
ship in
ship.
him. Mm-hmm. Like, where'd that come from? It's an awesome ship. It looks very Klingon inspired. Would you not say?
I was going to say it looks like.
I'm not even a Star Trek guy, and I feel like that looks like a Klingon ship.
In Star Trek, yeah, I will say that all the aliens had much cooler looking ships than the Federation. But yeah, it's badass. I love the way this ship looks. Also purple, by the way.
Caleb, you talked about how you love when we get into space with this show.
absolutely.
I just love how everything gets so futuristic. Like, I love the designs of the new Autobots. I love the designs of the new Decepticons.
Yeah,
I
they're
just
great.
think they're so awesome. Like, it was I loved it as a kid, and I saw the show before I saw the movie. Whenever in season 3, whenever they. And I was always like bewildered. This is so different.
Well, the aesthetics are great, and it's finally like the stylistic and technological potential that these things have because they are from outer space.
Well, yeah, and also it was a step up in the toy line because it wasn't just copying, Microman
to design new shit.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, we can make stuff look neat and rounder and not just be blocks.
I do like. Oh, and here's your ship.
It's
cool.
By the way,
I've been saving this for you.
Yeah, it's like a gift. I mean, Unicron hooks him up so hardcore. It's like
Here's your new whip.
Now, I just... Okay.
You like it?
It's pretty good. I will say, just going back a little bit to Cyclonus, who becomes basically far and away like Galvatron's right-hand man and like loyal to a fault. Cyclonus is basically like the Ultra Magnus allegory to Rodimus Prime, and they're both like putting out constant fires that their leaders are starting. They're both like, because their leaders are incompetent. Galvatron being psychotic, Rodimus just being not good at his job. And I
would say Galvatron. I'm gonna start a thing that I've never read before, but it just hit me. That I think that maybe part of Galvatron's psychoses post-movie, because in the movie he's got it together. He's not a crazy person.
Yes, well,
like he's got a mission. He's treacherous, but he is not he's just not off the rails. And I'm wondering if part of that you could explain by the fact that he was created by Unicron and given a mission by Unicron that's probably inherent in his whatever Transformer genetics. Unicron gets destroyed. I feel like part of the fact of tied to Galvatron's ultimate mania is that the person that created him has been destroyed and has no power, and that kind of breaks his psyche in a way that he can't really deal with and never deals with throughout the whole entire series. I think, like, I'm just creating that. I'm retconning, if you will. I don't know if that's come up.
I actually did
come up anywhere else.
Some reading about this, and that is a great way of putting it, which is much better than the way they deal with it in the cartoon, which is that after he's thrown out of Unicron, he lands in those tar pits that I can't remember the name of the planet, where Cyclonus comes and finds him. Apparently, the exposure to whatever liquid he's encased in drives him.
That's what they say?
Yeah.
That's lame.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's lame as fuck. Okay, so that's the end of the minute. Actually, I shall say the final words of this minute are, now go destroy the Autobot Matrix. And that's how it ends.
And Galvatron's like,
and then the ship comes
okay.
Guys, it's like 12:05.
Really? What does that mean?
I don't know. I think it's time for
Rip Deviations.
Every time.
In the script that I have, basically there's a blinding flash of light and Galvatron exists all of a sudden, and he still resembles Megatron, according to my script. He laughs and flexes his muscles, as we saw Galvatron do, but his voice is deeper, and that seems to be the only real difference from Galvatron. But then the funny thing about it is that after the transformation, Galvatron says, "Long live Galvatron!" Like,
oh, that's weird.
Just trying to hype up an audience that doesn't exist, and also
trying to make this happen.
Did Hitler need people to be like? Was Hitler ever like, "Hey, long live Hitler"?
Right, guys.
You know what? I would not put it past Hitler to do something.
Well, we know there's some Nazi stuff in here with the Hall of Heroes.
Yeah.
The only other thing is that Cyclonus is created, and then his quote armada is similar, but the script notes that his armada, his clone of himself, I guess, is much smaller, but similarly colored. So
weird.
He made a clone of himself that's tiny, a mini-me, if you will, according to the script that I have.
If you're making more toys, why did you just make more toys?
Yeah. Well, as we were saying before, like, after this scene, after the next scene, which he transforms and all of the that crew, but his armada doesn't even exist.
No, there's
really from this point forward.
Skywarp.
It's a huge mistake. It doesn't even make sense. And I think part of that has to be that from a storytelling perspective, do you really need two groups of people that have copies of themselves?
Yeah.
Like, let's knock it off already. It's cool to have the sweeps. Cyclonus doesn't need that.
Yeah, it seems lazy and weird. I don't know.
I don't even know why it should not. That it's a major movie flub that's caused lots of
people
discussion among the fan group. But it also just didn't need to exist.
No.
It's just stupid.
Nah.
Anyway, what you got?
Megatron is the only one who's died. He's a life spark. The Hall of Heroes, the Decepticon Hall of Heroes, has been smashed. Some other life sparks that were contained in those statues have floated with him. So Megatron is the only one in this script who died. There are none of the Seekers, none of the Insecticons, nothing like that. So they have reached Unicron, or a slab-like planet, which has grass and trees, which is actually the hair on Unicron's hand. Again, question mark, is he organic? I don't know. So basically, the last one, there was a beam that shot down, and it starts to transform Megatron. And there's a Ingester / Unicron, I don't know, says, "Arise, Galvatron." The debris starts swirling around and into the shimmering life spark of Megatron, merging into it, spinning and interlocking. An X-ray effect takes place in which we see a new skeletal structure, wiring, circuitry, etc., flashing it off as a new and larger being starts to form, getting bigger, fuller, changing from little life sparks to huge, fully formed, thick, throbbing. I added
What?
that. I added that part into Galvatron. The transformation creation ends in a blinding flash, and Galvatron, who still resembles Megatron, again, Aaron, to your script still, but now wears a new insignia which marks him as a servant of Ingester.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. A different insignia.
Yep, and then he laughs and flexes his muscles and stretches. His voice is deeper, different from Megatron's. Galvatron. Life, function, power. Ah ha 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 ha! Megatron be gone. Long live Galvatron. So says long live Galvatron. And then
Cocky as fuck right off the bat. I mean, not that Megatron wasn't.
and then Unicron says, "And these shall be your minions," like is still maintains. The cold rays descend on them and repeat the transformation process only more rapidly. First transforming the pale life spark to Scourge. Scourge, parentheses sweep character, is bearded, fanged, and ferocious looking. And as soon as he's been created, he roars and stretches an array of similar characters, smaller and all wearing. And here's the weird part: and all wearing dark matching uniforms. What?
They're darker than Scourge.
And they're wearing
clothes?
They're wearing clothes.
Which,
Uniforms?
yeah, uniforms would lead me to believe that it means design, but later, like in just a second, it doesn't seem like it does. Because Unicron says Scourge, the tracker, and his huntsman, the sweeps. On Cyclonus, new Decepticon with plain transformation ability. As Cyclonus is created from life spark and his armada of similar but smaller and similarly colored and clad creatures are formed. So similarly colored, but they're not wearing uniforms. So why are the sweeps wearing uniforms?
Sweep 6 and 7,
That's the only time.
descending upon this battleground of sorts.
A callback to Call of the Primitives, which is interesting because that's
Best
the
episode of all time.
that's the of course that's the only time actually the sweeps are referred to by number.
Is that right?
I read that on the TF Wiki.
A little
last
trivia.
night.
Thanks, Jed.
And then basically the end of this is the ghostly voice, comma or parentheses Ingester, loudly proclaiming over the scene, "Now go, take command of your forces on Cybertron and deliver unto me the energy remaining on that world. Go, I command you. Go and do my bidding." So nothing about the Matrix.
So
it's all like
he wants the energy?
yeah, it seems like I haven't read ahead, but it seems like deliver me your planet, which is weird.
He wants, but why does he need them for
I
that?
don't know, because earlier even in the script he seems to take over Lethone with no problem, his mist and shit. So I don't.
Did you have the mist in your version of the script?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe so.
All right.
It's been a while, but I think so.
So go deliver
Yeah.
me the energy. I'm not going to tell you how. You just do that.
Yeah, and again, I haven't read ahead, so I don't know how that works. But like in the same way that the movie is convoluted as to Unicron's motivations, this seems weird and convoluted.
The thing I think I look forward to more than anything whenever we meet up every 2 weeks or so is finding out where this storyline is going.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
It is a BONK TOWN.
It's fucking crazy.
It is.
I love it.
Stupid. It's not stupid, actually. It's
I wouldn't
actually
call it
really,
It's
really,
really
cool.
creative and
It's
it's
very-
so strange.
It's more along the lines of like your 1970s fantasy.
Yeah.
Right. Heavy
Like
heavy metal.
It goes along with that, and I think that this is a
Which makes sense that Ron Friedman came up in that. So.
Yeah, so it's in that vein.
I don't know
so,
why, but okay. So here's a
get
couple
it.
questions, and maybe we'll find out as we go along. Why did it change? It's actually
I
kind of
like
cooler
the
in a way.
I like the
Why
life
did-
spark idea. Yeah.
Well, I think it changed for.
I don't know. That's pretty goofy.
It-
A little
it-
tiny Megatron.
Well,
floating
it doesn't have to be
around.
portrayed like that, but I just think like a spark, like
I think
just
I think it had to change for the sake of A,
toys.
toys, B, just.
It didn't have to change for the sake of toys, I would argue.
I think it would be also be visual, like the budget. I think of representing this stuff visually, from an animation standpoint.
So if
I don't know. It was the times had changed. It just seems to make more sense.
But in this world, Decepticons we'd never seen before had their statues, which I encased their spark, smashed, and those sparks floated off with Megatron's spark.
Yep.
First of all, that makes so much more sense and would alleviate, not that anybody cared about continuity, but it just makes it easier. Like, these
True.
dead ancient Decepticons are now your team, your minions. You're in charge of these guys. They don't have anything to do with these other guys. They're in charge. Like, you're in charge of them, so you don't have to explain away anything about who they were or what they, except for maybe Galvatron. And you know what? I think we've made clear, Galvatron understands that he may not fully understand that he's Megatron,
Right, there
But
seems to be a
there's
disconnect,
definitely
but yeah.
some sort of residual personality there. This, I don't know. I mean, I like this explanation a lot better.
I do too.
mean, there's weird things about it I don't like just tiny little spark people.
Yeah, that's weird.
But I don't know how you.
It doesn't have to be
change
that. It could just be, again, like it just show like literally what looks like a glowing spark or something, and it just
Right.
as it talks, like in in It's a Wonderful Life, like whenever it talks, it flashes.
Sure.
And I think that would work. I think actually that would work better than, and then we wouldn't have this "who is Cyclonus" problem.
Right.
No, I really like that part, and I don't know why. I guess we'll find out again, like why it changed.
We'll see. I mean, I think that. The only thing that I could think of is that it is interesting to think of former characters becoming new characters.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
To me, at least, it's only interesting in that you understand that those characters knew they were an old character.
Like-
you understood the dynamic why they are what they are, I guess.
Yeah, like
and there's no
Bumblebee's a
explanation.
Goldbug.
Exactly. Bumblebee knows he's Goldbug. He wasn't turned into Goldbug by Unicron. I mean, honestly, that's a whole other weird why
Sure.
they do that. But if these characters knew they were once one thing and now they're another thing, that's interesting.
yeah, it's way more.
And if we knew that they were corpse and now they're just whatever they are, that's interesting.
Yep.
But there's no explanation whatsoever, and I guess that's
Yeah,
fine.
and this was also, again, I mean, a time whenever there wasn't a lot of thought put into kids' shows.
All right, are you guys ready to? We can.
I'm the ghost of the iconic moment.
You know? So mine was just at 3122, the first appearance of Galvatron. I mean, the next supervillain, behold Galvatron. I mean, I feel like that's really the nuts and bolts of this one.
I don't know if there's any disputing that. I mean, I think the whole scene of seeing Megatron's inner workings is pretty iconic.
Yep.
I mean, this is a minute full of iconic moments.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I mean, every
it's wild.
second of it is. So like the inner workings of Galvatron, just watching the team get reformatted. I would say, the reveal. Here's something I would have done differently.
Okay.
If I were directing this movie, and maybe you would question it as a more experienced film person.
Okay.
Right? I would have done Galvatron last. I would have done the sidekicks first.
That's a good point.
And done a little like hoop-de-doo with that, and then revealed Galvatron at the end.
I disagree just because you can do the most extensive stuff with Galvatron. Like, if you notice, like, later, and even in the script it says, like, when they reformat the other ones, it does it much slower. So you get the best reveal.
I think it makes sense that way too because it shows the whole process, and then they can kind of abbreviate.
Yes,
but you don't have. You could abbreviate that process for those guys, and then show
make
it. It's still a little bit of mystery. I don't know what's happening. It's happening so quickly. But then when it comes to Megatron to Galvatron, really blow it out.
It just by that point I think you've kind of just taken away
the effect,
the impact of it.
That's right. I'm on Ryan's side.
You guys win.
Okay. On the chalkboard that we have for wins,
but
I'll put that.
It's a good point. I think
not.
Okay, fine. Moving along.
All right, next week, everybody. One of our favorite sniveling sidekicks is going to kick the bucket.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, that's all I have.
Wow.
Okay, great.
Everybody, listen to our show. Tell your friends about the show. Listen, hey, let me tell you a little something. We just found out today. We're officially in the top, 20 or something.
Something like
top 20 Transformers. If you were to search Transformers on iTunes,
we're in one of the top 20 results.
You know what? We figured out a gimmick. At any rate, listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and TuneIn. And follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We love social media.
Yeah, please interact with us. And please, if you're on iTunes, maybe give us 5 stars. We really appreciate it. And we'll give you a good old shout out.
And the website has a plethora of extra content. So if you like the minute, and you like our little deviations off of the minute, we go into that in more detail on the website. So please come out there. Check it out.
A plethora of pinatas.
El guapo.
I am not as educated as you. I don't know the line. Guys, go and watch The Three Amigos. I don't know if it holds up. I haven't seen it in 20 years.
I just also want to shout out a podcast I've been listening to. It's really good. You may like it, Caleb. Ryan would hate it. It is called Dissect. I discovered him in his second season. In the first season, he dissected Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly album. In the current season, he's dissecting Kanye West's beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy album. Track by track, he spends like 30 minutes on each track. Talks about the production, talks about the inspiration, and he talks about the meaning of everything. And it's actually splendid.
Cool.
If you are a hip-hop fan or a fan of Kanye West or Kendrick Lamar in general, I say check that out. That's all I got.
Cool.
Yep, still flopping my dick. All right.
Oh, Ryan's dick. So veiny. God, it's veinier than I expected.
Well,
I thought you'd have a smooth one, but it turns out you've got lots of texture on that
I'm
thing.
Dehydrated. It's
a little elephant man-ish.
It's like if you
but
were to
not
do like
in that it's
shrinky
big, but in that it's wrinkly.
What do you
Bye,
think,
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
And then I gotta go. Yeah.
So before we get going, I just thought I'd show you my anal retentiveness.
This spreadsheet is amazing.
I'm keeping track of just trying to, the collection. And so this is the ARC Autobot crew, basically the 1985 crew. Everybody's covered in masterpiece form, except for Cliff Jumper and some guy named Road Hauler that I don't think was even on the cartoon. I only care if they were on the cartoon, really.
I don't recognize that.
Where's he fitting into the canon then?
I don't know. Nowhere, I guess. I mean, maybe in some comic book canon.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. What's your sources?
There's a few sources, but let me see.
What does Chug stand for?
So...
Is he a train?
No, there's...
okay. So Road Hauler is basically a green version of Grapple.
Yeah.
So he was never... I think he might actually have had one screen appearance, but it might be debated on if it was an animation error.
Probably.
Chug is sort of the mainline Transformers. If a mainline Transformer has inspiration in the G1, then it's a Chug. So those two, that Cosmos and that what's his nuts?
Ramjet?
No,
not Ramjet.
Power Glide.
Power Glide.
Those are
Jesus.
Chug figures. But my real goal is to get the Masterpiece figures, if they exist. There is no Masterpiece figure that exists. There are Chug figures, but... so yeah, that's it. Now, season 1985, Omega Supreme.
That would be an amazing figure.
Have they not made one?
Actually, some third parties have. A third party called Fans Toys has made one, and then there's another third party, the one that I'm probably going to buy. Gosh, I'm blanking on the name of their company. But in the next year, there will be one here. Roadbuster was another character not on the cartoon, but I'll probably try and get one. Skids. There is somebody working on a Skids. I don't know if he was in the cartoon or not, but he actually was in the comic a lot. And I don't know if they'll ever make a Top Spin or Twin Twist. Remember those guys? Those are the flippy guys.
The flip guys.
I've got one of those.
Oh, do you?
Well,
Maybe it's down there. Or maybe it's packed away. If you gave it to me, I'd do
It's the kind of goes.
Yeah, you roll it back and it flips.
I don't remember.
I had one of them.
I don't remember giving it to you.
So this is a modern Chug interpretation of that character.
Yeah, I had
pretty cool.
I had one of those, and I don't know where the hell that
It's a
is now.
headmaster too.
Oh, they're doing a lot.
They made everything into a headmaster. That was their gimmick.
It's like the
Are those?
the ship's going down. Let's make everything headmasters.
Oh, they're bringing out new gimmicks too. The next round of toys is called Power of the Primes.
What is this?
I don't know all the details about it, but they're bringing Pretenders in, but they're not as cool as the old Pretenders, but they're bringing those back. They're basically recycling everything from our.
I mean, I never thought the Pretenders were cool in the first place. I hated the Pretenders.
I liked them all right.
I
I
was
didn't
like-
collect them that. Well, I mean, I was a kid. I got what I could get.
I don't know. I'm like, even as a kid, I was cynical to the point of like, oh, this is just toys. You're just trying to sell toys for old characters. And it's like, one of them, their Pretender's shell was a human, like a person. I'm like, who's this fooling? Like, he's a 30-foot tall person.
I think all the Autobot Pretenders were.
What do you think about their hit single back on the Chain Gang?
I was
Holding on to that.
I was a big fan of Chrissy Hind.
Yeah, totally.
She was great.
Yeah.
They had a song called Space Invaders. It was a big. I like that.
Are they
one. Their
making
first
her into
album.
Masterpiece action figure?
She just always will be a masterpiece.
Good
Yes.
call.
All right. So
A
anyway,
treasure.
Autobots,
This is
Decepticons.
Yeah.
I have oddities. Oh wait, yeah.
Just
oddity,
one?
Yeah.
We should take
I have more oddities. I haven't updated.
This is your
in a
current
while.
collection, and then stuff you
This,
want.
there's well, it's a track. It's a track of everything I want.
Wow.
Some stuff I don't
You
have.
should take a screen grab of this and throw it up because it's pretty awesome. Like, it's amazing the organization you've done to figure out what you want.
You need to be able to see the finish line.
I don't know.
All right, so let's watch the show. What do you guys say?
Okay. Well, we're right there.